So I want to begin today's message with a story that I read in this little pamphlet by Peace Pilgrim. It's called Steps Towards Inner Peace. And so our message today is dropping the mask and Bushel. And I don't know if anyone is familiar with Peace Pilgrim. Those of you who I see, yes, Stacy's raising her hand. Peace Pilgrim is this amazing woman. She passed away a number of years ago, I want to say in the 80s. And she decided that she was going to dedicate her life to service, the service of peace. And so she left her very lucrative job with only the clothes on her back. And she trusts that she would be provided with everything that she needed. She had no shelter. She had no food. She had nothing, but she trusts that all her needs would be provided from other people. And so she went on a pilgrimage of peace. She walked over 25,000 miles across America. Yes. Talking about peace and bringing the peace energy to everyone that she interacted with. She was an amazing, amazing woman. So she talks about, before I share the story, she talks about in this pamphlet, preparation, how we have to prepare ourselves when we are doing our work, when we're doing what is ours to do. And she has 4 preparations. I'm just going to mention one. It's the third preparation. And that third preparation is, there is a third preparation that has to do with something which is unique in every human life, because every one of us has a special place in the life pattern. Every one of us has a special place in the life pattern. That is Peace Pilgrim talking about our authenticity, right? Exactly what we talked about last Sunday, that we are the unquestionable evidence of God, that we are authentic and we are verified. We are authentic. Can you say that? I am authentic. I am authentic. Yes, you are. So she said, every one of us, every last one of us has a special life pattern. So what exactly is this life pattern, right? We are patterned after the likeness and the image of God. That is our life pattern. So our life pattern is a divine pattern. And our life pattern is also a human pattern, right? They work hand in hand. So are you in the flow of your life pattern? Do you feel like you are in the flow of your life pattern? Or do you feel like, I'm not in the flow of my life pattern? Wherever you are, it's okay. It's good to know where you are. It's just good to know where you are. So flow or no, it's okay. It's okay. So let me share the story that Peace Pilgrim shares as she's on her peace journey of walking over 25,000 miles, y'all. Can we just take that in? Some of us complain about walking 2 blocks. She walked over 25,000 miles across America. So on one day that she was walking, she says, I remember one day as I walked along the highway, a very nice car stopped, and the man said to me, how wonderful that you are following your calling, because she would walk with a tunic on that said Peace Pilgrim on it. So it was like her calling card, and people would become curious about it and ask her about it. So he said, how wonderful that you are following your calling. I replied, I certainly think that everyone should be doing what feels right to do. He then began to tell me what he felt motivated towards, and it was a good thing that needed doing. I got quite enthusiastic about it and took for granted that he was doing it. I said, "That's wonderful. How are you getting on with it?" And he answered, "Oh, I'm not doing it. That kind of work doesn't pay anything." And I shall never forget how desperately unhappy that man was. But you see, in this materialistic age, we have such a false criterion by which to measure success. We measure it in terms of dollars, in terms of material things, but happiness and inner peace do not lie in that direction. If you know, but do not do, you are a very unhappy person indeed. If you know and do not do, can we take that in? If you know and do not do, you are a very unhappy person. You might be an unhappy person wearing a mask of happiness. But underneath that mask, there is unhappiness. We might open up that box that Chris guided us through and see a mask of someone else, because we are not being who we are here to be. So I referenced the following Bible verse last Sunday, and it's where CSL was inspired for the talk, the title of the talk, Dropping the Mask and Bushel. And so I think some of us are familiar with the Bible verse in Matthew 5:14-16 that says, "You are the light of the world." I was just talking about this last month. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a bushel, but on a lampstand, and gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine let your light so shine before everyone that they may see your good works and glorify God in heaven. And we know that heaven is a state of consciousness. Yes, we know that heaven is within us. Yes, all right. So that man that Peace Pilgrim wrote about, shining his light in the world, was he shining his light in the world? Or was he hiding his light under a bushel? He was hiding his light under a bushel because there was something for him to do, and yet he was not doing it. And he knew there was something for him to do, and yet he was not doing it. And in his case, it was because of money. Now, I could certainly relate to that. I can certainly relate to choosing not to do or to dim my light for money. I am so grateful that I put that mask down, right? Because talk about unhappiness. That is a level of unhappiness that is deep. That is deep, right? So we're going to drop our mask and we're going to take our light from underneath the bushel because it needs to shine in the world. Yes? Are we shining our light? That man was not being his authentic self. He was hiding his unique gift and calling. His gift was a calling that the world needed. Your gift is a calling that the world needs. Are you shining it in the world, or are you hiding it under a bushel? I'm asking real questions, y'all. Not theory, not theoretical, real questions that we can take into contemplation with us, because we were not designed to hide our light. We were designed to be the light, yes, to shine our light. We were not designed to wear masks. We were not designed to wear masks that cover up our true nature. So it's time to drop the mask. It's time to let it go. It's time to come out from that bushel, whatever that bushel is. Your bushel might not be money. Your bushel might be status. Your bushel might be an unsupervised ego. Who has an unsupervised ego just running amok? Yes, at times I do too. All of us do. We're human, right? So dropping the mask and bushel requires that we not shut our light off from the rest of the world, because the world needs our light. The world needs your unique life pattern. So I realized that I had a pattern of hiding my light under a bushel of busyness. One of my favorite quotes is from Socrates, and he says, "Beware the barrenness of a busy life." Beware the barrenness of a busy life. To be barren is like empty, no fruit of a busy life. So my life was so crowded by my to-do list that my to-be list was getting buried and crowded out. Peace Pilgrim said in this same pamphlet, if your life is in harmony with your part of the life pattern, and if you are obedient to the laws which govern this universe, then your life is full and good, but not overcrowded. If it is overcrowded, you are doing more than is right for you to do. More than is your job to do in the total scheme of things. I want to say that one more time for the people in the back. If your life is in harmony, your part in the life, if your life is in harmony with the part in the life pattern, and if you are obedient to the laws which govern this universe, then your life is full and good, but not overcrowded. If it is overcrowded, you are doing more than is right for you to do. More than is your job to do in the total scheme of things. Are you being obedient to your light? And the origins of the word obedient, we know, comes from obey. But the vibrational code of obey is to hear the expected. To hear the expected. What are you expecting to hear? Expect to hear the ever-expanding good. This is what we get to expect to hear by being obedient to shining our light in the world. Are you listening for the expected good? Are you listening for that? The mask that I was wearing was the mask of, I can do it all. Look at me. I could do it all. I had my value, my worthiness was wrapped up in, I could do it. I could do it. I'm responsible for all of it. And you too. That was my life before. I got it all under control. The mask that I wore was the mask of control. I got it all. I got it. I got it. And so I learned, when you think that you're in control of things, guess what? You're really losing control. you're really losing control. Have you ever been driving and another driver starts to drift into your lane? Has anyone had that experience? And you're in your car and you're saying, get in your lane, get back in your lane, right? So I was drifting into God's lane. I was drifting into God's lane, the lane of how. I just knew I knew how. I had the how. And we know, because we hear this said in our New Thought circles all the time, that God's business is the how. But because I had my mask of control on, I was scooting over to God's lane. I was like, well, let me get over here. Move over, God. I got this. And I was losing myself. I was stressed out. I was so tired all the time because I was wearing this mask of control and I was hiding my light. The more I did, the more my light was getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer under the bushel, right? Under the bushel. Some of us have a mask of ego. So yes, my ego was unsupervised and running amok, along with this notion that I'm in control, that I'm in charge, and that I got the hows for everything and everybody. Remember, Peace Pilgrim said, if you know, but do not do, you are a very unhappy person indeed. I was becoming a very unhappy person indeed. I was developing a life pattern of overcrowdedness. Can anyone relate to that? Yes, yes. But we weren't designed for that. We were designed for a life pattern of harmony, right? So is your life pattern barren with busyness or harmonious? We get to choose, y'all. We get to choose. So it's time to step away by stepping towards inner peace, because your true life pattern is a divine pattern. We get to spend more time in receptive silence, seeking guidance from the light, from our light, from God's light. Spending more time practicing the presence of the presence by coming out from under the bushel and rising up in the consciousness of authenticity, simply by being our true nature. So let's see what Ernest Holmes has to say about this whole thing. Ernest writes in the Science of Mind text in a chapter called Finding the Christ, we should never hesitate to say that we know the truth, because we do. For the realization of the unity of God and man is the truth. We simply need a greater realization of this. We know. Sometimes we wear a mask of not knowing, acting like we don't know. But you know, I know, we know. We simply need a greater realization of this. And so Ernest says, how are we to get it? And then he tells us how. He says, only by penetrating deeper and yet deeper into our own divine nature, pushing further and further back into the infinite. He asks, where are we to do this? There is no place except within that we can do it. And then his last question is, who is to do it for us? No one. No one can do this for us. We have to do this for ourselves. He says the illumination of the spirit can only come to the degree that the individual proposes to let life operate through them? Are you willing to allow life to operate through you? To what degree are you willing to let life operate through you? To what degree are you willing to let your light shine forth through you? A little bit or a lot? Ernest said, we have to penetrate deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. We had that talk, I think it was last month also, what lies beneath the surface. The surface is where all the stuff is happening. But beneath that, there is infiniteness that we get to penetrate by going deeper within ourselves, by going deeper into that life pattern of harmony. So it is your divine nature to be the representation of the illumination of the spirit that you are. It is your divine true nature to be a beacon of light in the world. A light that beckons is a powerful light. It's a powerful light. It's a light that summons, right? It summons. I was just thinking about when we were having lunch and we were talking about in the Bible, some of the chapters are all about this person begat that person, and that person begat that person, and on and on and on and on and on, right? Light itself begets light. Light begets light, right? So we get to beget light in the world. Your light causes other things to happen. If we don't shine our light in the world, some things are going to be missing in the world. In the world, because beget means this. It could mean the genealogy of people, right? But it also means an event, an action, or a thing that caused something else to happen, that causes something else to give rise to bring about. Your light brings about good, something glorious, something magnificent. Yes? So we have to drop our mask so that we can get to begetting. Let us get to begetting. Yes? A life of harmonious living, a life of harmonious living. So when Ernest Holmes writes in the Science of Mind text, the eternal is forever begetting that which is the realization of its own perfection. So we, by shining our light, by begetting light, we are in the realization of perfection. We are realizing our perfection. That light is eternal. Remember, you are the light of the world. You are the light of the world, and that your light begets light. We are here. If you're thinking, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know what my purpose is, let's just start with, you are here to shine your light because your light begets light. Let's just start there. Because God has the how. Sometimes we withhold our light because we're trying to figure it out. Stop the figuring it out. You just shine your light. Just start there. You beget light by shining your light, not by hiding your light under a bushel. So I just want to go back and remind everybody that the definition of cultivating is to devote oneself to. And that authenticity means representing one's true nature. And the origin of authentic is coming from the author. So when we drop the mask by devoting ourselves to our true nature, we are being obedient to God. We drop our mask so that we can get to begetting a life pattern of harmonious living. So let's get to that sixth get. Let's get to the sixth get. So I want to remind you of the first 5 gets, and then I'll tell you what the sixth get is, in case you missed it last week. So this is the gets to practicing cultivating authenticity. The first get is get yourself by being yourself. And I often have to go gather myself up because I done wandered off somewhere, wandered off from my authentic self. So get yourself by being yourself. Free yourself from the pressure of not being who you are not. So that's 1. Get yourself by being yourself. 2, get deliberate. So Brené Brown has a mantra that she speaks to help her to ground herself in the truth of who she is. And her mantra is, don't shrink, don't puff up, stand on your sacred ground. And last week I shared my mantra. My mantra is, I am joy, don't mess with me. That's my mantra, y'all. So have you created your mantra? What is your mantra? Right? CSL offers a mantra. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. The third get was get inspired. Do something that inspires you. And be courageous about your inspiration by standing in your truth. And I suggested taking yourself on an authenticity date, right? A play on Julia Cameron's Artist Date. Take yourself on an authenticity date. Do something that you've always wanted to do that is expressive of who you are. The fourth get going. Stop delaying, stop procrastinating on shining your light in the world. Get going. Make it a priority. Cut out the overcrowdedness of the busyness of life. And instead, get going with who you truly are. And 5, get devoted. Get devoted. Devote yourself to your true nature. And one of the ways that I do this is I write something that I appreciate about myself every day, and I put it in a jar. And when I'm having those days that's really challenging to me, I'll go to that appreciation jar, I'll take out something and I'll read it. And that helps me to shift from that low vibration of, usually for me, is woe is me. Oh Lord, what am I gonna do now? So here's the 6th get. Get to begetting. Get to begetting. Light begets light. We're dropping our mask. It is time to cease and desist from hiding your light under a bushel. Act like you got a letter from a lawyer telling you to cease and desist right now from hiding your light. Remember, your light illuminates from the secret place of the Most High, and that place is within you. And that place that is within you is awfully and wonderfully made. Yes, yes, yes. So I want to close this with a spiritual mind treatment from Ernest Holmes. And if anyone wants to reference it, it's on page 365. Oh, that's easy to remember. Page 365 in the Science of Mind text. So I invite you just to go within and take a breath and just center yourself in the light that you are. God is more than law or principle. God is the infinite spirit, the limitless conscious life of the universe, the one infinite person within whom all people live, the one indivisible whole, holy, 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 inner presence great and mighty, inner light that shines divinely, inner life that lives completely, inner joy that smiles serenely, inner peace that flows so deeply, inner calm, untroubled, happy, inner love that gives so freely, inner truth that never fails me, inner power that holds securely, inner eye that sees so clearly, inner ear that hears God always, inner voice that speaks supremely, inner good that binds me to thee. Holy, 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 God within me. And so it is. Amen.